Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe. We're going to be doing our Q&A video leading up to the Season 1 finale of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, and talk about some Fear the Walking Dead finale theories. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe. This one's going to be doing our weekly Q&A video leading up to the season finale of Daryl Dixon, and we're leading up to a whole bunch of Walking Dead stuff. Tomorrow we have NYCC, where we're going to be getting another teaser for The Ones Who Live, which I'm super excited for. We'll definitely do a video before that airs tomorrow, but I want to also go through a lot of your comments because we had a big penultimate for Daryl Dixon. We had a lot of things go down, so without further ado, let's get into your Q&A comments for this week. The first few come from Ridicule, Hector, and K-Dog. Dan, do you think the reason why Carol sounds a little bit off when she's talking to Daryl is because Rick came back? That's true, but maybe CRM has a kind of like, you know, takeover on them, and maybe they've taken over the Commonwealth, and things are kind of intense now, and now the Commonwealth work for the CRM, so basically Rick came back, but there's a price to it, right? And the one from Ridicule says that, Dan, how long do you think Rick has been back for? Also, do you think it kind of takes away from The Ones Who Live knowing that Rick already got back? So, starting off with, I think definitely the CRM has some sort of power over the Commonwealth by this point, for sure, but I don't think that's why Carol's necessarily upset. I think it's either that the Commonwealth is taken over by CRM or Michonne is dead, because here's the thing, I feel like she would have said Rick and Michonne are back, right? I don't know. And it really does seem to me like Michonne is a very high possibility for a death in The Ones Who Live. I'm not going to lie. The way they advertise that show as a love story, the way they advertise that show in general, I just don't get the vibe Michonne's going to live. And I know a lot of people might call me insane for that, but I really think they're going to rip our hearts out. I really do. And mostly because I think that Denai Guerrero wants to move on with her career. She has been very much out of the game with the Walking Dead stuff for a long time, and she doesn't really talk about it all that much, you know what I mean? And I've noticed that. I feel like they're going to be forced to kill off Michonne. I hope not, but that's where I feel like it's going. So that's why I think Carol might sound upset. Again, very out there theory, I know, but that is an idea I'm thinking right now. Either that or you're right, CRM just took over and, you know, there's some kind of weight over them now, right? That definitely could be it, because Carol does not sound like her normal self. She sounds stressed out, she sounds on edge, and that definitely is not like Carol. So I'm interested to see what the hell they explain that with, right? That'll be very interesting. Now, as for how long has Rick been there for, probably only like, hell, probably like a month, maybe not even. And then in terms of like, you know, will it ruin the spinoff? I don't think it will, actually. If anything, it actually helps the spinoff, and this is why, is because now I can watch the Rick spinoff without worrying that he doesn't make it back home. You know what I mean? I think, honestly, that's going to help us ease our kind of worries a little bit and just focus on Michonne. You know what I mean? Because Michonne, we don't have confirmation of. Rick, we definitely do. So at least we won't have to worry about them killing Rick off immediately after bringing him back. You know what I mean? So I think that definitely will be good. And, you know, some people may argue, oh, well, I don't think it's Rick, and I don't think that's who it was said on the radio and all this stuff. Well, I've listened to it many times. I've literally turned up the volume to an absolute max, and it sounds like she said Rick. It absolutely did. So I'm telling you right now, Rick is the one that's back. That's why they're building it up like this. That's why they're hyping this up. They're not fully telling us yet because they want to let us watch the spinoff. But definitely, I think that's one of the things that we're going to learn about once Carol goes to France in season 2, is that she will tell him, like, yeah, Rick made it back. You know what I mean? And that's going to be absolutely insane. I cannot wait to see that. But yeah, that's it. I don't think it'll ruin the spinoff. No, I definitely don't. The next one comes from Tyr, who says that, Dan, do you think that Madame Jeanette will end up killing Quinn? Do you think that Quinn will survive the finale? And maybe Quinn will turn into a variant zombie that Daryl will have to fight. Just curious. So yeah, definitely Quinn is a character that I think will survive, as I've said in the death predictions. I feel like they're making it too obvious. I feel like Codon will be our big villain death for the finale. Madame Jeanette will live, and Quinn will be in the middle. I think Quinn is going to escape. I think he will get out, but we're not going to know what happens to him. I feel like they're going to leave that up in the air for a little bit, and then later on, he's going to come back and raise hell. I definitely think so. Now, in terms of, the whole variant walker thing, and do I think that Quinn is, going to be a variant walker? I mean, yeah, they could do that. They could kill him. I definitely don't rule that out, but I feel like the actor has so much charisma that, like, you almost have to keep him around. I don't know. He's really, really good. And I feel like there's a lot more that they could do with him. Although if they kill him, I'm not going to be upset. I mean, we've had good stuff with him so far, but definitely I think him escaping just makes the most sense, and it's not as predictable. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think Quinn will definitely survive, and he'll come back to haunt our characters later on, right? Or at least raise some hell, or whatever he's gonna do, right? So that'll be very interesting. And I mean, you never know what Madame Jeanette's gonna do. She's a very, very unpredictable character. The next one comes from The Big Bang Theory that says, Dan, I know this one's a little random, but are you planning on reviewing House of the Dragon season 2 when it eventually releases? So yes, I've heard some updates about that. House of the Dragon season 2 has been in filming or whatever. That's the Game of Thrones spinoff for anybody that doesn't know. We will definitely be reviewing House of the Dragon. We reviewed the first season. It was really good, and I'm definitely going to be covering season 2. In terms of anything Game of Thrones franchise related, we're going to cover it because, I mean, Game of Thrones is another franchise that I think is really, really good, minus the, final few seasons. But besides that, I really enjoy it, and I think it's fun and stuff. But yes, I definitely will. Absolutely. House of the Dragon, that'll definitely be reviewed. I think that'll be next year, but, we'll review it as soon as it releases for sure. Next one comes from Paul, who says that, Dan, I have a little bit of a theory, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think it's possible that Rick could be in the Fear the Walking Dead finale? Now, before you jump to conclusions, let me explain. And basically, he goes into how he could see a situation where Morgan does make it to the Commonwealth with Mo, and Rick makes it back around that time, and we get a reunion, right? And then after a little while, them two decide that, they're back, in the same place. Everything's going good. And then Morgan could contact Madison and let her know that he's, back to where he came from. He found his friend, he found his people, etc., etc. Madison asks Morgan for help over the radio, so he sends the Commonwealth crew along with Rick and the rest of them to go rescue Madison and the rest of them at the end of Fear the Walking Dead. And we get a humongous crossover in the final episode of Fear the Walking Dead with Madison meeting Rick, maybe Alicia, and stuff like that. And etc., etc. They come in and save the day. Maybe Padre does fall, but then they end up going back to the Commonwealth, and we get like a big, type of event, right? So that'd be really cool. So, you know what, Paul, in a perfect world, I would love that. You know what? In a perfect world, I would love that. Now, sadly, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it's going to happen. We would have heard leaks about Rick being in the series finale. We would have easily heard about Morgan being back. And I don't know how I feel about that either, because Morgan did announce that that was the end. Like, that was it for his character, So, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I could see a scenario, though, and I will give you this. I could see a scenario where the Commonwealth, not Rick and Morgan, sadly, I don't think they're going to be around, but I could see a scenario where the Commonwealth does save Madison and Padre and all the rest of them, because Dwight and Sherry are going back into that vicinity, right? So I could see a scenario where they themselves bring the Commonwealth to, to help out, right? That would be good. I would love to see something like that, but even that's like a stretch. Like, I would like to see it, but that's, that's the only thing that's like somewhat possible, right? Is like, I don't know, Carol shows up real briefly or something. But, in terms of like Rick and Morgan and all this stuff, yeah, no, I don't think so. I would love it to happen. I really would. And, people be like, oh, Dan, you want Rick and Morgan in Fear? Why would you want to bring them into this? Well, yeah, it has bad writing, but it couldn't hurt to bring them in for 20 minutes to have a really cool, kind of save the day type of moment. It'd be really good, right? But, and I think that would bring a lot of pointers to Fear, right? Because people that exclusively watch Fear would actually know who Rick is because of 401, right? And it'd be like, oh, there's Morgan's friend that he saw in the junkyard, So, even if you're watching Fear, you're not watching the original Walking Dead, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but whatever. You would still recognize Rick, right? So I get what you mean. It definitely would be cool, but I I don't think they're going to do it. Unfortunately, I would love to see them do it, but I just don't see it happening. No, I don't. And the last one comes from Life Quotes, who says that, Dan, do you think that in the Daryl Dixon spinoff, if Daryl was not in the original Walking Dead series and we had this spinoff, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, without Daryl being in the main series, do you think it would have the impact and be as good as it is now? That is a really good question. I really, really like that one. And to be honest, and I'm gonna keep it real, I don't think it would, to be honest. It's because we have the connection to Daryl in the main series. I think that Daryl would be a very beloved character in this show, let alone though. Like, I don't think that would change. I think the success of the show would definitely be very different. I think, us caring about it would definitely be very different. But I don't think it would take away from how good Daryl is in this show. Like, if this was the only time we would have ever seen Daryl, I would have been like, this is a very intriguing character. He's got a lot of really cool one-liners. He's got a lot of really cool, a lot of really cool scenes, like the Jimmy scene and, some of that stuff. So I think in that case, the Daryl show has done its job because it's made me enjoy the character even without the original Walking Dead. But yes, definitely the original Walking Dead adds to the success and adds to, why it's done so well, obviously. But I think it would have been all right on its own. I don't know if it would have gone on for multiple seasons, but it would have done a pretty decent job, I would say. So let me know in the comment section below, what are you guys expecting for, of course, NYCC tomorrow? What do you guys think of the penultimate episode of Daryl Dixon? Sounds like a lot of you guys really enjoyed it. What do you guys think of Rick's return? How do you think Carol is going to be dealing with it? Why do you think she sounds so, distraught? And do you think the Daryl show would have worked if it was just this season that Daryl was in the franchise? Very, very interesting stuff. So let me know in the comment section below all that stuff and your opinions and all those questions. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos of the Walking Dead universe. Make sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Daryl Dixon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.